My pleasure. Thanks for the introduction, Wendy. So, good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about the fun side of technology, which is really just the future of it. And the interesting thing about this space and this responsibility is that it has an awful lot to do with balancing expectations and reality, but still leaning forward toward what's likely to come in the very immediate future. So my argument today is that cognitive solutions and AI, more broadly speaking, are going to reshape every industry in the very, very immediate future. We are butting up against a very rapidly changing landscape, and that's going to mean a lot of different things for all of us in all probability. If we look at historical patterns of how humans have adopted significantly new technologies in the past, it's reasonable to expect that history is an indication of the future and that a lot more of our jobs are going to be directly affected by automation in one way or another. It's in the headlines all the time. Unless you are able to completely hide from the news, this isn't likely to be brand new information to you. But what will actually change and where those probabilities lie and what sort of things are unlikely to change are still an open topic of debate. Some things that seem very, very practical to me are that we can look back at historical adoption of technologies, let's say in car manufacturing, and on the manufacturing floor, automation, with a very specific definition, has really driven a lot of capacity increase across many, many different auto manufacturers. That same sort of adoption of that kind of prescriptive, repetitive, targeted labor is likely to start to apply to more and more of us who are generally seen as knowledge workers, where even though we might not be building something on a factory floor, our job day to day requires a significant amount of prescriptive and repetitive and anticipated behavior, and those are good candidates for automation. So we're breaking ground now into a rapid adoption cycle of technologies that are fairly new to market but are being picked up at a significantly faster pace than what we're often used to with respect to technology adoption. There are a variety of reasons for that. We'll talk about why some of those things are made easy during this webinar, but it's absolutely coming. And it's coming in a few different waves, and we're going to talk about what those waves look like. But the pace of adoption is really the point that I'm trying to make right now. And I think that this is historically analogous to the invention of another significant technology that humans picked up and embraced incredibly quickly. If you look at Manhattan in the late 1920s, any pictures in that era are going to be littered with horse and buggies all over the streets. If you fast forward 5 years to the early 30s, those same pictures of Manhattan won't show you a single horse. There are going to be gas-operated vehicles all over the street. It took us almost no time to jump out from traditional technology for transportation and embrace a reinvented way of getting around that was much more efficient and had a lot of impacts on a lot of existing industries. In Manhattan alone, the industries surrounding enabling a horse-drawn buggy industry were significant. All those industries were retrained, repurposed, repositioned to support a brand new mechanism of transportation in a very short amount of time. And I think that that's what we're on the cusp of right now with respect to a much wider range of work, given the power of automation, generally speaking. The rate of change being that rapid really starts to enable some very impressive statistics across industry. So Gartner anticipates that by 2020, we're going to see at least 90% of large and mid-sized organizations with at least one process supported by RPA. That penetration rate is outrageous, especially when you consider that today, in those same organizations, RPA has a 50% penetration rate. 2 years ago, it was below 20. So the pace at which we're picking up this technology and applying it very broadly is significant. And cognitive solutions and AI are following the exact same buying patterns so far as major adoption of RPA. They follow that same wave, that same trend line, and so we can anticipate that today, with approximately 14% adoption rate of AI technologies inside those same organizations, we're 2 years out from closer to 50% adoption. We're 4 to 5 years out from closer to 90% adoption. And that is a rate of change that we as professionals are usually not familiar with or comfortable with keeping up to. And it's going to mean a lot of impact on a lot of the initiatives inside of all of our organizations. It's going to change the nature of demand on all of our employees, both technical and non-technical. And it's really going to start to reshape the landscape of work as we know it. But, like I said, when we look at this sort of a scenario and when we lean forward to this kind of future adoption, we have to balance the hype with the realities and the practicalities of what's achievable today and what's likely to be achievable in the near term. So right now, a lot of the adoption that we see, while much of it is successful, a significant portion of it is not. So RPA might have 50% or higher. Actually, this year we're creeping up on 60% adoption right now of RPA across organizations. That's not analogous to 60% of organizations having a successful RPA initiative underway. A lot of the enthusiasm and the adoption around a lot of these technologies are built on some false promises. A lot of it is really positioning things around how you interpret the value prop. Organizations want to believe that however many people they have doing a piece of work today, whatever those people cost annually, that's exactly how much they'll save, and that's how they build out the cost justification for an automation initiative. It's not true. They're not going to hit that kind of a number. That's not reasonable at all. The implementation of any of these technologies alone is a major project. It requires significant oversight and guidance. It runs on for a significant period of time, and that value prop is based on the expectation that we can take 100% of that work and give it to robots or AI. The reality is that's never typically the case, which means that for the foreseeable future, for those 5, 6 years out, maybe 10 years out from now, we're still going to see an ongoing need for the coordination of robotic and human resources to collaboratively get a lot of this work done. And that means that on an ongoing basis, there's still a significant emphasis that's underserved right now, but needs to be placed on the governance and management of all of these automation initiatives. They're not exactly what organizations think they're setting out to do, but a lot more companies are starting to identify and realize that early on in their campaigns, and they're pulling back to really readjust their staffing, and we're starting to see a lot more success and return on investment from organizations that take the governance and management of automation initiatives very seriously. There's also a common misconception that you don't need IT to get a lot of automation done. That's prompted, I think, by the fact that for automation, a lot of the cost justification comes from economic buyers and finance operations, other areas of the business. But this is very much a technology solution, regardless of how you deploy it at its heart. And the only times that we actually...
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year. But if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.